Forget the hype. The collapse is on. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. I want to get into this absolutely jam-packed episode, move through it as quick as I can. I have some information for you, beginning with this as we look at lumber. Lumber is one commodity, just another indicator which has a direct correspondence to what happens in the economy. If there's a downturn in the economy, lumber shows that. If there's an uptrend, lumber shows that. And of course, this is just a general theme, but you can see that with lumber, and now visually you will see it is on a declining trend. So although this isn't 100% accurate, it is something to look at. We have hundreds of indicators that I've been covering over these years on this channel. Keep showing you the new numbers, which keeps showing you the correspondence of this same thing, just like lumber. So use lumber to your advantage. Check it out. Continuously look at that and use that as just one of many indicators to address the health of that particular stock market or economy or what have you. Stock valuations in the Shiller Cape. This is one further indicator showing you overvaluation of the stock market. You can see that this chart goes back to about the 1880s where it begins, and that would give us a very good timeline to think about stocks being so overvalued now. In fact, there have only been a couple times throughout history where this has been this bad. So that is every reason to believe that stocks will be coming down. Now, will they crash to zero? I don't know if that's exactly the case, but they are overvalued. And when things become overvalued, they end up selling off. Let's look at this here. Right from the Federal Reserve's own website, this is quoting Janet Yellen from her recent speech, where in fact, some have said that she had a stroke on stage. So we'll keep a close eye on that. This is her words. The federal funds rate, that's the interest rate essentially that the Federal Reserve charges to commercial banks, and other nominal interest rates cannot go much below zero. So many central banks have been engaging in a negative interest rate policy. Janet Yellen, prior to becoming the chair of the Federal Reserve, actually said that if it was possible to go to negative territory on the interest rates, then she would be all in favor of that. So we know that specifically she's in favor of that. If the board is in favor of that, and of course they are, then they will bring that down to negative rates. The question is, how far can they go? Severe downturns such as the Great Recession may require pushing real interest rates far below zero for an extended period to restore full employment at a satisfactory pace. As far as I'm concerned, there's much detail here in this article or this speech that she said, but I'm going to take from it that they're willing to push the interest rates down far to get things to keep going, to get that employment. Of course, it doesn't work like that, but to get people employed. Whether it's -1 is the furthest they can go, or -10 or what have you, they're going to continue this policy. That's what I'm taking from here. Hope you will as well. From my book, talked about the lowering of interest rates is really just a crush for the system. The most recent recession saw interest rates drop to the lowest level in history. Never before has money been borrowed so easily. And when I say that, there's a paradox because we're in the problems now because of debt. So what do? You allow more debt to expand. How do you fix a problem? Well, you simply pour more of that on top of it. How do you fix an alcoholic's problem? Well, you give him another shot. Let's look at this from Time magazine. Why millions of Americans are raiding their retirement savings. Why would someone want to do this? Well, of course, they're in poverty. There are nearly 50 million Americans in poverty right now. That actually corresponds to the amount of food stamp numbers. But think about that for a second. Why would somebody want to raid their retirement savings knowing they're going to be penalized for doing so simply because they don't have any money? Why don't they have any money? Well, it's pretty obvious that they are, unfortunately, suffering for various reasons. They can't get work, or they're underemployed at this time, being two major things. And unfortunately, this is expanding. It's getting worse. There are many facts within this Time article, but I need to move on. Financial cycles and crises are becoming longer and deeper. And what they said here was that actually they're getting better at what they do. Quite interesting to think about it. 1970 until now, and you can see they swing it further and further. They can stretch and pull that out, but it is making things worse. Ultimately, they have more control in a way, but it seems to be actually a lot less control in a different way. Depends how you want to look at that. Interesting chart to look at for yourself. Look at this here. Spot butter price. Highest ever on record. And this goes to show you how expensive commodities can become. And these are food prices. Food prices specifically are going higher and higher, something I've covered very often. French job seekers, their unemployment rate, record high. So we have a lot of record highs today. Neither of them are doing good for the economy at all. This is a global policy that is being put in place. Put people into poverty and basically watch them have to beg at the feet of the government. Then we move over into China as we see the Chinese president addressing Silicon Valley's titans, including Apple CEO Tim Cook, Amazon.com, and of course everyone's favorite, Warren Buffett, in a closed-door conference. At the event with America and China's top business leaders, the leader here in China vowed to work to remove barriers to foreign investment and improve intellectual property protections in a bid to crack down on his country's ripoffs of U.S. products. There's a lot of rhetoric going on here. Of course, just like any bill signed into the law, there's always a few things being snuck in. We know that this has a lot to do with the back doors that are put into the technology that are being sold to everyone around the world. We know that specifically. There are, in fact, computer chips that can operate and transmit signal without the wireless device even being on. If you can explain that one, then we have something to talk about. That's actually a fact that patents do exist. I'm pretty sure I've even talked about it on the channel as well. Let's move on to this. This is how low society is becoming. This is where we get to, and it's only going to expand. Fight over chicken breaks out in the deli aisle at a Publix in Tampa. People are fighting over food, but is it really the food that they're fighting over, or are they losing everything? They're poor. They are basically fighting for their lives in a way. I see this expanding. I see it getting worse. I hope that you are keeping a very close eye on this type of behavior that we are seeing all the time. Yes, it's just one little event, and these do occur every day, every corner of the country, in good times and bad. But I see it expanding and escalating. If you found the video informative, please give me a thumbs up. I wanted to note that many people have been commenting recently, telling me that my channel is in fact one of their favorite out there, and many have said that this is their favorite source of news, that they come here in 5 or 10 minutes. They learn more than in all of the other news that they see. And of course, I am, really appreciating the kind words, and it, in a way, it's a lot of pressure on me too, because now I have such a great responsibility to bring the education to the public, and I assure you I'm trying my very best to continuously, day in, day out, bring out the information. Sometimes if I don't have enough for a really strong video, I don't bring that video out. I don't want to just bring out garbage. It's only good, solid information, and I hope that you appreciate that, and I know that you do. Last but not least, if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. Flip through the book for yourself over at Amazon. Take care.